Alastair Nwachukwu had never seen anything like Lagos. From the small village of Umuadyke, he arrived at Everleigh High School carrying a worn-out backpack and a heart full of hope. His father had passed away years ago, leaving his mother, Mrs. Nwachukwu, to raise him alone. She had worked long hours to save enough for him to travel to the city, and her eyes shone with pride as she hugged him goodbye at the bus stop. Walking through the school gates, Alastair felt a mixture of fear and excitement. The buildings were tall, the classrooms bright, and students rushed past in stylish uniforms. He knew he was different, but he reminded himself that his intelligence had earned him a place here. For the first time in his life, he was determined to show that being from a village didn't mean he was any less capable. Celestina Virelli and her best friend, Marigold Hensworth, ruled Everleigh. Dressed in designer uniforms, they walked through the hallways like they owned the place. Celestina's father, a billionaire, made sure she had everything she wanted, and she had learned to expect attention wherever she went. Students whispered about her sharp words and unshakable confidence. When she noticed Alastair for the first time, she smirked. He looked out of place with his simple shoes and quiet way of speaking. "A village boy trying to survive here?" she whispered to Marigold. Alastair didn't seem bothered by her glance. That small confidence puzzled Celestina, though she wouldn't admit it yet. She was used to being the one in control, and Alastair's calm presence was different from anyone she had ever met. Alastair soon met a few classmates who welcomed him. He quickly became known for his clever answers in class and the way he helped others understand difficult lessons. Even teachers, like Mr. Hawthorne, were impressed by his intelligence. Celestina, still observing from afar, found herself oddly annoyed when she saw him succeed. How could someone so quiet and simple get attention without trying? Fate intervened when they were paired for a school assignment. Celestina rolled her eyes, expecting him to fail. But Alastair listened carefully and spoke respectfully, finishing the work with surprising skill. That day, a tiny seed of curiosity began to grow in Celestina's heart, though neither of them knew it yet. Celestina's girlfriends constantly warning her about Alastair because he's poor, and her slowly defying them. Another rich guy, let's call him Rafferty Blackwell, who likes Celestina and gets jealous when he notices her closeness to Alastair. He pressures Alastair, warning him to stay away, even though Celestina and Rafferty are not dating. Life at Everleigh High School was not easy for Alastair. Every day, he balanced schoolwork, the curiosity of classmates, and whispers about being a village boy. But he stayed focused, spending hours in the library reading about science, history, and everything that interested him. His mother's words echoed in his mind, "Work hard, Alastair. Intelligence is your greatest strength." Celestina walked the hallways with Marigold and two other friends, all perfectly dressed. "See that boy?" Marigold said, pointing at Alastair. "He's poor, village style. Don't waste your time with him." Celestina hesitated for a moment but shook her head. "I don't know," she muttered. "He's different." Even if it went against everything her friends said, she couldn't stop noticing him. During the school fair, Alastair and Celestina were paired at the same booth for a charity event. Celestina rolled her eyes, expecting it to be dull, but Alastair arranged everything calmly, welcoming visitors politely. Later, as they walked back, Marigold whispered harshly, "Celestina, he's nothing for you. Leave him alone. You deserve someone rich, like Rafferty." Celestina stiffened at the name. Rafferty Blackwell was the wealthy, handsome student everyone admired, and he clearly liked her. But she found herself glancing at Alastair and thinking he was kind, clever, and brave. Alastair struggled sometimes. The rich students often looked down on him, but he stayed humble and worked harder than anyone else. Celestina noticed him helping a struggling student one day. "See? He's actually kind," she whispered. Marigold frowned. "Stop looking at him. Rafferty is waiting. Don't embarrass yourself with a village boy." Celestina clenched her teeth. Even if it went against everything her friends said, she couldn't stop thinking about Alastair. Another project paired Celestina with Alastair. Surprisingly, they worked well together. Alastair listened carefully and shared ideas respectfully. Their friendship quietly grew. Rafferty noticed from afar. One afternoon, he approached Alistair in the library. "You need to stay away from her," he said coldly. "I like her. Don't get too close." Alistair looked up calmly. "We're just classmates," he replied. Rafferty scowled and left, furious that someone he considered beneath him might get Celestina's attention. During midterm exams, Celestina sought Alistair's help with a tricky science question. His patience and gentle explanation made her cheeks flush. One evening, walking through the courtyard, Celestina tripped. Alistair caught her just in time. Their eyes met. Marigold had warned her to stay away, Rafferty had threatened him, but Celestina didn't care. Even if it went against everything her friends said, she felt a spark she couldn't ignore. Something was changing quietly and powerfully. The girlfriends constantly warning Celestina to avoid him. The slow, growing bond between Celestina and Alistair despite the pressure. Rafferty Blackwell couldn't stand seeing Celestina near Alistair. One afternoon, as they all walked through the courtyard, he intercepted Alistair. "You're smart, I see," he said coldly. "But stay away from her. She doesn't belong with someone like you." Alistair looked up calmly, hiding the surprise in his eyes. "We're classmates," he said quietly. Rafferty's jaw tightened. He stormed off, muttering threats under his breath. Celestina, watching from a distance, felt a strange mix of anger and admiration. She didn't like Rafferty telling her what to do, and for the first time, she realized her feelings for Alistair were growing stronger. Marigold and the other girls cornered Celestina in the girls' lounge after school. "Celestina, don't fall for him," Marigold insisted. "He's poor. He can't give you the life you deserve. Stick with someone like Rafferty. He's rich and powerful." Celestina shook her head. "I don't know. He's different. He's kind and smart. I like spending time with him." Marigold rolled her eyes. "You'll regret this," she warned, leaving her friend torn between loyalty to her friends and her growing feelings for Alistair. Alistair and Celestina were paired for another project, this time in the science lab. As they worked, Celestina noticed his dedication and patience. "You really care about what you do, don't you?" she said softly. Alistair smiled. "I care about learning and about helping others if I can." Celestina felt warmth she hadn't expected. Meanwhile, Rafferty watched from the doorway, arms crossed, fuming that someone he considered inferior could hold Celestina's attention. But Celestina didn't notice. All her focus was on Alistair and his quiet confidence. One evening, while walking home after a late study session, Celestina suddenly spoke. "Alistair, I like spending time with you, even if my friends say otherwise." Alistair stopped, surprised but smiling. "I like it too. You're different from anyone I've met." Rafferty had tried to pressure him, and her friends had warned her, but Celestina didn't care. She felt her heart beating faster, a spark that couldn't be ignored. The tension of social rules, friendship warnings, and jealousy faded for a moment, leaving only the start of something real between them. By the start of the new term, Alistair and Celestina were spending more time together at school. Their classes often overlapped, and group projects continued to pair them. Celestina's friends still whispered warnings whenever she was near him, saying he was poor, village-born, and unworthy of her attention. "You need someone who matches your life, Celestina," Marigold would insist. But even when her friends tried to sway her, Celestina couldn't help noticing how Alistair's intelligence and kindness set him apart. He listened, he helped others, and he never judged anyone, traits that her wealthy world rarely offered. She found herself laughing more easily when he was around, sharing small secrets and jokes, and enjoying the simple feeling of being understood. Meanwhile, Rafferty Blackwell watched them with growing anger. He was used to being the center of attention and couldn't tolerate someone like Alistair being close to Celestina. One afternoon, he cornered Alistair outside the library. "Step away from her," he warned, his tone sharp and threatening. "I'm serious. Don't think you can take her from me." Alistair remained calm, looking Rafferty in the eye. "I'm not trying to take anything," he said quietly. "We're classmates. That's all." Rafferty gritted his teeth and stormed off, but his eyes were full of jealousy. Celestina, watching from a distance, felt a strange mix of fear and excitement. She didn't like Rafferty telling her what to do, and the boldness Alastair showed made her respect him even more. During lunch breaks, Celestina would often sneak away from Marigold and her other friends to sit with Alastair under the old mango tree near the sports field. They talked about everything: their dreams, the challenges of school, even the lives they came from. Alastair told her stories about Umudike, his village, and his mother's sacrifices, and Celestina found herself imagining a world far different from her own. For the first time, she felt that life wasn't just about wealth or appearances, it was about character, kindness, and courage. Every shared laugh, every quiet moment, and even every disagreement about schoolwork pulled them closer together, building a bond that was becoming impossible to ignore. Despite the whispers of her friends and Rafferty's looming threats, Celestina realized that she valued her connection with Alastair more than the rules of her rich world. As Alastair and Celestina spent more time together, tensions around them began to rise. Marigold and the other girlfriends tried harder to pull Celestina back into their circle, warning her that Alastair was not someone she should trust. "He may be smart," Marigold said one afternoon in the lounge, "but he can't give you the life you deserve. Don't forget who you are." Celestina felt frustrated. She wanted to respect her friends, but every time she thought about Alastair, their quiet strength and honesty kept calling her back. She tried to explain herself, but Marigold would just roll her eyes and leave, making Celestina feel torn between loyalty to her friends and the growing bond she couldn't deny. Despite the pressures around them, the pair continued to meet quietly, sharing small victories and discussing dreams for the future. Celestina admired Alastair's dedication to his studies and his respect for others, while Alastair appreciated her willingness to see beyond appearances. Even under the weight of jealousy, warnings, and social expectations, they found comfort and excitement in one another's company. Every glance, every quiet laugh, and every shared secret slowly built a connection that neither wealth, gossip, nor threats could easily break. Their friendship was turning into something deeper, a subtle spark that neither of them fully understood yet, but both felt growing stronger with each passing day. Alastair and Celestina were becoming closer, but the pressures around them were stronger than ever. As their friendship deepened, Alastair began to feel subtle aches and fatigue, small signs of an illness he hadn't shared with anyone yet. He pushed through schoolwork and projects, hiding his discomfort from everyone, even Celestina. Celestina, oblivious to the illness, continued to spend time with him, enjoying their conversations and shared laughter. One afternoon, while Alastair leaned against the library wall, trying to steady himself after a dizzy spell, Celestina's voice broke through his thoughts. "Are you okay?" she asked, concern in her eyes. Alastair smiled, masking the pain. "I'm fine," he said softly. But for the first time, he felt the weight of his secret pressing on him. Celestina's kindness and growing affection gave him strength, yet he knew he couldn't hide the truth forever. Something had begun that neither money, gossip, nor illness could stop. The bond between a poor village boy and a wealthy girl, strong enough to defy the world around them. Alastair could no longer hide his illness. The small aches and fatigue that had once seemed manageable now worsened, and he began to struggle with daily activities. One afternoon, after collapsing briefly in the library, Celestina helped him to a bench under the mango tree. Her eyes widened with concern. "Alastair, what's wrong?" she asked softly, holding his hand. He hesitated, afraid of worrying her, but he finally spoke. "I have an illness, Celestina. Something I can't hide anymore." Celestina's heart clenched. She had admired his strength, kindness, and intelligence, never imagining that he carried such a heavy burden. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" she whispered, tears forming. "Because I didn't want to worry anyone," he replied. She squeezed his hand firmly. "We're friends, more than that now. You don't have to face anything alone." In that moment, the spark between them grew into something unbreakable. Celestina realized that love wasn't about wealth or status. It was about loyalty, courage, and compassion. Even if Rafferty tried to interfere, even if her friends doubted her, she knew she wanted to stand by Alastair. Rafferty's jealousy reached a boiling point. He saw Celestina spending hours with Alastair, laughing and caring for him in ways that Rafferty couldn't. One afternoon, he confronted her angrily outside the school gates. "I've warned you," he shouted. "Stay away from him. He's not right for you." Celestina stood her ground, her voice calm but firm. "I don't care what you think, Rafferty. I choose him. His heart, it's bigger than anything you could offer." Rafferty, shocked by her defiance, realized that nothing he said could sway her. At that moment, Celestina's feelings became clear, not just to Rafferty, but to everyone who had doubted her. With Alistair's illness now known, Celestina became his pillar of support. She helped him with schoolwork, accompanied him to the infirmary, and sat by his side during moments of pain. Alistair, inspired by her unwavering care, felt hope he hadn't felt in months. Their love grew quietly but powerfully, uniting two people from very different worlds. Even Marigold and the other friends began to notice the depth of their bond. "I guess he's really special," Marigold admitted one day, shaking her head. "And she really cares." By the end of the school year, Alistair and Celestina had grown inseparable. Rafferty, though still bitter, accepted that his wealth couldn't buy love. Celestina's friends, seeing her happiness and Alistair's bravery, began to respect the boy they had once dismissed. In that quiet, simple moment, the boy from a poor village and the girl from a wealthy family knew that love had triumphed over wealth, prejudice, and hardship. Together, they faced the world with courage, proving that true affection can bridge any divide and endure every challenge.